Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Hanging Out for a Living. We're thrilled to host Gary Jinks, the visionary CEO of ScaleUp Stream, an innovative platform that is transferring the landscape of entrepreneurship. ScaleUp Stream serves as a neutral platform fostering collaboration, cross-promotion, and meticulous execution. They are carving out a new path in the entrepreneurial realm, emphasizing sustainable startups and ensuring that even if a startup fails, the entrepreneur learns and grows. They are truly pioneering the concept of fail as a startup, succeed as an entrepreneur. So, Gary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive in and get this conversation going. So, Gary, can you tell us about your journey? What led you to start ScaleUp Stream, and how does it stand out in the world of startups and entrepreneurship?
Sure, I'm going to actually start from the beginning because it comes into play. So when I got out of the Army, I was picked up the very next day by the largest ground vehicle defense contractor in the United States. And I spent 18 years there working in their advanced development center, creating innovation. We developed probably 25 combat vehicles and a wide range of other things. So I got to take something from an idea to a product over and over and over again. So I learned how to bring innovation to market. Well, then I decided to get into the startup world because I got out of the Army and I've been living in the Silicon Valley since 1981. So in 2000, let's see, what year was that? In 2004, I actually left the corporate world completely and launched GLJ Group, which was my company, which really did the same thing. It worked with corporates to bring innovation to market and get it into the hands of users. In many cases, that was still focused a lot around DoD, Homeland Security, Border Patrols, things like that, FBI. And then in 2010, I launched South Valley Angels to fund that innovation in those startups. And then last summer, I launched ScaleUp Stream to make innovation really available at all. And what it really does that makes it uniquely different is it puts the control in the hands of the startup. Today's model, startups have virtually no control. They stand on the side of the road here in the Silicon Valley. You go to Sand Hill and hold a sign up and says, I'm awesome. And hopefully somebody funds you or invites you to an incubator or something. But it's not a real good model really for the business side. So ScaleUp Stream puts the power in the hands of the startup. They can come on board. They can reach out to investors, reach out to resources, build their team. They have the control to do it themselves. They can build their own incubator organization around them if they want. So that's really the big difference there is the power is in the hands of the startup.
Absolutely amazing. You're really setting the bar high there. So your model is intriguing. Fail as a startup, succeed as an entrepreneur. Can you unpack this concept for our audience, and how does this idea reflect in the design and operation of ScaleUp Stream?
Sure. Well, as most people know, 9 out of 10 startups fail.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that. And I believe it's the current model that's being taught at incubators, but we can get into that later. But anyway, most of them fail. So what do? Well, most of them go back and get a job.
Right.
Okay, so if you fail as a startup, wouldn't it be nice if you could just find another startup that's actually doing what you were trying to do or similar enough where your skill sets are a match and now you can just slide up for them. So ScaleUp Stream, we highly promote engagement. So anytime somebody comes to one of our events, we always tell everybody to, if you're looking for something for your team, ask. Just go to the chat room and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody who knows how to do this. So that's the main thing that we do with a fail as a startup and succeed as an entrepreneur.
I love it. That's really progressive and innovative. It falls right in line with what you're doing. So ScaleUp Stream seems to emphasize collaboration and cross promotion. We're in a really fiercely competitive startup environment. How do you facilitate such partnerships, and what's been the feedback so far?
Sure. So let's start with the simplest aspect of that. So ScaleUp Stream at its heart is a discovery and engagement platform. And what I mean by that is everything's done by engaging. So all the investors have events, the service providers, so there's events out there. So you're engaging in that. So it's an engagement. So for example, every Monday night, anybody in the world can pitch to a Silicon Valley investor. First come, first serve. That in itself is extremely novel. We probably now have, in the last year, we've probably got over 300 startups from Africa, and we have 4 investment firms in Africa now doing funding. So it's an engagement. So if you're a startup and you just upload your stuff and you're waiting for somebody to come talk to you, then you're on the wrong platform.
Okay.
You can go out and talk to them. Like you said, the startup has the control. So it's up for them to take charge and do it. So since July, we've made over 1,000 strategic connections, that being companies finding development teams, sales reps, just people to fill out their teams. We've had over 1,000 strategic connections.
Wow.
And not counting, service provider contracts or something like that, just people that have connected within to build mainly their team and their network around them.
Wow. Amazing. Those connections are so important.
Yes, they are. It's you cannot launch a startup. It takes a village.
It sure does. It sure does. So, we were talking about entrepreneurship here, and with it being such a volatile journey, many individuals will shy away from it. How does ScaleUp Stream mitigate these risks, ensuring sustainable startups and provide career management for entrepreneurs?
Sure. That's a great question because if you think of something like LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn has been trying to get their arms around the entrepreneur for probably 6 years now. But their platform is just not built for that. It's built for recruiters and corporates and companies to hire and so forth and so on. When entrepreneurs get in there, they kind of flow through everything like water, and
Yeah.
they can't get their hands on it. So what we do is we allow the startup to come in at free of cost. They can come in and learn through the platform by going to it. We have a bunch of free events on there. So for example, what I mentioned earlier, Monday night, come pitch to an investor. We will get anywhere from 30 to 80 people on any given night.
Wow.
And out of all that, there may only be 6 that pitch. The others are all there learning how to pitch, learning what kind of feedback, and listening to the feedback and how things go. And then they come and show up maybe a month later and they do their first pitch. So we have that. We have a bunch of events where you can come through with no cost, learn the basics. And then we have some amazing programs they go. So right now, ScaleUp Stream is covering almost all of the cost. And I'm actually doing the program myself personally. We do a one-on-one incubator program. That program will take most startups anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 weeks to finish it, depending how far along they are and how much homework they have to do and what they haven't done up to that point.
Sure.
And that program, we meet one-on-one, so we're working strictly with you, and that whole program is $500. Now, that program, if we do that with an incubator accelerator, we'll do that same program with probably the same amount of hands-on, and the incubator we do it for will charge $3,000.
So your pricing is very budget friendly.
Extremely. There has to be that, and we put some methods to do that. So there's a budget friendly piece of that, so they can get going, because the startup model isn't for everybody. Right. They think it is. They get out there and they start doing, gosh, this just really isn't for me. So in many cases, it's better to learn that quick and move on back to what's more exciting than to spend a year and go broke or divorce, whichever, or both.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we do that. So we work with them through the whole life cycle, from I have an idea that I want to conceptualize all the way through to, hey, we have some corporations that want to buy you.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Gary, we want to respect your time. So we want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in to Hanging Out for a Living. We invite you to continue the conversation, or I would say rather a fascinating conversation with Gary. His innovation and vision through ScaleUp Stream are not just pioneering a new pathway to entrepreneurship, but are really empowering future generations of leaders. Follow us on our platform for more enriching discussions, and don't forget to check out ScaleUp Stream, and you'll find all the contact information for Gary in the description of the interview. So until then, keep hanging out, keep dreaming, keep achieving. Thank you so much, Gary, for joining us. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.